they're nodding yes. I go, but before I do that, I'm going to ask them 2 open-ended questions. I want you We're continuing our conversation regarding the listing presentation, right? We talked about how the listing process, there's some steps you should follow, right? Having, a very strategic approach. I'm just going to mute you there, Renee. Having a strategic approach to every single listing presentation. From the moment that you set the appointment, the listing presentation starts. So we wrote down here, step 1, obviously set that appointment, set the listing appointment. Step 2 is qualify that listing appointment. And we went kind of over some questions that you can ask. We want to find out from the client their motivation, like dig deep here, the where, when, and why. We also want to find out from the client price point. Where are they at with price? Right? We want to make sure that all the decision makers will be present at the appointment. We'll also ask, if there's any questions, concerns, which are, in essence, the objections that you may get during the presentation. So we kind of want to get that ahead of time, not answering them on the actual call. These objections or these questions or concerns will be something that you would handle at the actual appointment. So please don't handle them over the phone. We also talked about how in the qualifying, we're going to ask them if they're planning to list with you when you come and see them, right? See, that's a very important question. And if you don't ask that, if you're not upfront and saying, hey, I'm coming to list this home, and if you don't ask that question, then it's not really a listing appointment. It's more like a real estate visit. They just may want to get some, an understanding of price point. They may not be ready to go on the market. So you need to know that ahead of time. You need to know that before you go out to that appointment, right? Because that will mess you up mentally. If you believe that this is a listing appointment, qualified listing appointment, but you haven't asked them if they're going to actually list with you, that's going to mess you up mentally. So please make sure that you do that in the qualifying. Step 3 is send them a pre-listing package. And kind of went over that pre-listing package, something, anything, I don't care, right? You can have a draft in an email and just attach a few things to it and send that off to the client. But the big reason that we're sending them something is to control the narrative. See, those folks that you're going to meet with are going to Google you, right? And they're going to go all over the place. And, if you haven't sent them some information, then you're not controlling what they're seeing, right? And some stuff that you may want to consider sending them as a pre-listing package would be maybe some points on your marketing plan, some testimonials. I really like what Renee does as she shoots a video using the person's name. They get to see them face to face because most of the time everything's done by phone, right? It's like, hey, I look forward to seeing you, William. Can't wait to meet with you tomorrow at 6 o'clock, right? I've left here in my email a few links that you can click on to get a little bit more of an idea of who I am, right? Look forward to our meeting. Like something cool like that. Email to them as a video is brilliant, especially if you have BombBomb as a service. Definitely take advantage of that. All right, next we got step 4 is obviously prepare the CMA. You guys know that, right? Prepare the CMA, whatever way you do it. Now, we suggest that you take 3 or 4 sold properties, right? Ideally, this is a visual. So if you can get the pictures of how those homes look like on the inside, so you got to kind of get a perspective of that property, right, for the client. And then you want like 3 or 4 homes that are for sale. And this is the competition, right? Now, price is determined by market value. You guys all know this, right? So whatever homes sold for in the area, that's market value. Now, your competition is your listings that are for sale. That's determining whether that marketplace price is going up or price is going down. Like that's what those listings look at. So you want to get your CMA, get it prepared. Next I wrote down is step 5 is reconfirm the appointment. So this is the day of. I set an appointment yesterday for today at 6. I will call the client up and confirm the appointment. Now I'm going to ask some tough questions here. It's not going to be just easy. Hey, are we good? Can we see each other today at 6? All right, sounds good. No, I'm going to dig deep here. I want to press on them. Hey, the idea that I'm coming there to list. So questions that I may ask would be something like, hey, first of all, hey, is today, William, at 6 o'clock good for you? And they're like, yeah, great. Did you get a chance to review my pre-listing package? Just want to make sure you looked at it, right? And then I'll go into, is there anything specifically, questions or concerns that you want me to address at our meeting today at 6, right? I'm going to ask that question again, try and get the objections out. Now, one important question to ask is, what are they looking for in a realtor? So when I come and see you today at 6 o'clock, I'm just curious, what's important to you in the realtor you select? I want to get an understanding of what they're looking for, what their concerns are. Obviously, I'm going to ask again, will all the decision makers be present, themselves, their spouse, and anyone else helping them decide? And then I'm going to ask this question. Is there any reason you will not, William, list your home with me at tonight's appointment? Now, is that a tough question? Come on, I mean, that's a tough question, right? Who's got the cojones to say that question before coming over there, right? So I'm going to ask that question, and they, whatever the answer is fine. I don't care what it is, right? Yes or no. And then I'm going to say, well, my job tonight will be to convince you that I can get the job done for you, and to have you sign the contract tonight so that I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Now, won't that be great? See, I'm going to use a close and sell them on the idea that we should sign tonight if everything works out for you, right? So again, I'm reconfirming with them, I'm coming to list. Now, if this all happens, is this now a good listing appointment?
Yes.
Yeah, without question. I mean, I'm pushing the envelope a little bit, and I know for some of you, this may feel a little uncomfortable, but to be honest with you, I want to go on more qualified appointments. Who wants to go on more qualified appointments? Right? And this is how you go on more qualified appointment. You need to qualify. All right. Next step number 6 is obviously show up early. Now, what I would recommend is go preview the homes that are for sale in that marketplace. So if you have an appointment, let's say at 6 o'clock, well, show up at 5 and go take a look at those 2 or 3 listings that you have as part of your CMA, right? You obviously can't go see the ones that sold, they're done, but the ones that are for sale, go preview those homes, right? Because now you have a better understanding of value. This is the competition, right? I'm going to go to 103 Norman, but I'm going to go over to Martin Street and Hambly. And I'm going to look at the other 3 properties and see what they have, and making sure that when I walk through that listing appointment, I know what the competition looks like. So when I'm sitting with the client and the consumer, and they're trying to sell me this idea that that home isn't better than theirs, I'm like, did you walk through it? Like, did you not see the granite countertop? Did you not see the steam shower? Are you kidding me? How about the in-ground swimming pool? Completely, $300,000 in landscaping. You sure? You sure? You've been through that house, right? So it just gives you more power when it comes to pricing and understanding the neighborhood. I have many of you actually do what's called the 2-step listing process, where you go in, take a look at their home first, come back to the office, do the CMA, and then go back to their house. Nothing wrong with that except for time. When you start getting busy, that becomes a lot of real like, I'm not going to say waste of time, but it's a lot more time consuming. However, if you do it the way where you're taking a look at the competition, you guys are smart. You guys know how to evaluate properties. You can walk into their home and say right away, those ones are going for $1 million, 1-1. This one, and you're 900,000. Yes, you are, because everyone else is better and they haven't sold yet, right? So you know how to do value, right? All right. Then you show up at the house, and here's what I recommend. Visualize the perfect outcome before you knock on their door. Okay, real important. Show up 5 minutes early, sit in your car, and in your mind's eye, close your eyes and see the process, right? See how it works. Knocking on the door, shaking their hand, walking through the house. Visualize this, right? You can see the front door. You know how it looks like. Walk through the house, sit down at the kitchen table, and then do the great listing presentation, understanding price, knowing price, having them sign the contract at your price, at your commission. Then you're going outside, putting a for sale sign on that lawn, putting a sold right under for sale sign, then you're driving away with like a $15,000 paycheck. Can you guys see that? Absolutely. So visualize just before you actually knock on their door, right? Now, when you come into their house, obviously, the last step, step number 8, do the listing presentation. Right? Where in the house should you do the listing presentation?
Dining room.
Yeah, dining room or kitchen, right? Don't sit in the living room, right? Don't just go into the dining room, kitchen. You need a table. You want to look at them, and you want to be able to have them in front of you. So don't sit at the head of the table, where one's to your left and one's to the right, because then you're doing this, and you're kind of going to miss their quirks, what they're looking at. Sit directly in front of them so you could see them both. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the listing presentation. Doesn't matter what you have as a presentation, just have one. Whatever your presentation is, use visuals. Use visuals. Very important. Now, it doesn't matter if you pull out like a little laptop or iPad and you kind of go through that, fine. Right. Or if you have something that is on paper and you go through that, fine. I don't care if they're individually done, like just single sheets of paper that you pull out and it's got like a visual, but have some sort of visual. You guys clear on that? Right? 70% of the population need visuals. They need visuals, right? So let me pop up and show you my visuals. There you are. Here's an example. Listing presentation, right? And make it flow. Whatever you want to say, put it in here. Now, see this? Huge mistake, okay? Don't do visuals where there's a lot of reading, right? Big mistake. Nothing wrong with these ones. They're just kind of like reviews, but this is more what you're looking for. Having like little, pictures and just something where you can explain it, because you want them to listen to you, not try and read the paragraph that you wrote down. So be very careful with your visuals. Words are not the visuals we're looking for. Pictures are, right? Stuff like this, graphs. This works, right? Or you can use something like these where you have a picture and a little bit of a description. Remember this. Whatever you're covering in your visuals, whatever you're describing, always look at it from the benefit of the consumer. Why we do this for you, right? Now, there are, if you want to follow listing presentation, really simple one, guys, is there are 6 questions that every homeowner has when it comes to hiring a realtor, right? And you want to write these down. So number 1, first question is, why hire you? Why hire you? Second question, why your company? Third question, what am I going to do to market your home? What am I going to do to market your home? Number 4, what does my company charge for this service? See, I'm putting the onus on the company, the commission structure. What does my company charge for this service? Number, what are we at? 5, 4, 5, 5, 5. What is their home worth in today's market? This is the CMA. What is their home worth in today's market? And the last question is, what is happening in the market? Is this a good time to buy, good time to sell? Now, those are the 6 questions that every homeowner has. If you answer those 6 questions throughout your presentation, you're not going to get objections. You're really not. I mean, you can look at those to make a decision for them to select you. Those are really the only 6 questions. Now, obviously, they'll have stuff like, hey, what happens with the for sale sign? Or, you know, we have a dog or this and that. And those are very good questions, but it has nothing to do whether they decide you or not. Right? The 6 questions to decide you just answer those 6 questions. Right? And what I want to teach you is to use tie downs when you answer those 6 questions. Real important, using tie downs, right? And we'll get into that. So presentation is, I'm going to ask these 6 questions, but as you know, the problem with a listing presentation, it's too much of you talking, not enough of them talking. And that sucks. That does not build rapport. Okay, folks. So there's nothing wrong with you coming in, say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, there are 6 questions every homeowner has when it comes to selecting a realtor. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the 6, right? I'm going to answer those 6 questions, and then you can decide what you'd like to do. Does that make sense? And they're nodding yes. I go, but before I do that, I'm going to ask them 2 open-ended questions. I want you to write these down. Very, very important. 2 open-ended questions. This is the opportunity in which they can open up to you. This is the opportunity where they vent and vent and vent, and you just take it. Okay, you just take it. So this first question I would ask as an open-ended question is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm curious, what characteristic traits are you looking for in the next realtor you hire? What characteristic traits are you looking for? And whatever they say, you write down, okay, folks? I'm telling you, this is important. So they're going to say, well, we want someone who knows how to sell the house. Okay, sell the house. Top dollar. Okay, top dollar, right? Tell us the truth. Okay, tell you the truth, right? Be upfront with you. Okay, be upfront with you. Whatever they say, I'm going to write it down. And then I'm going to turn to them. I'm going to say, okay, top selling, top dollar, tell you the truth. It sounds like you're describing me. You missed a few things, but that's okay. We just met. Now, see that little chuckle I'm getting? I know you all did it. That little chuckle, that's breaking the ice, right? You'll notice that whenever you work with a buyer, it's a lot of fun, actually. They're not as stressed. You're looking at houses, you come in and out of houses, it's pretty fun. But that same buyer, as soon as you go do a listing presentation to them, it's like they tense up. It's like the air is thick and they're all worried. Did you guys ever notice that? It's like that same person that we were just having fun showing houses is now real tensed up. And I need you to break the ice. That's what we're doing here, okay? The second open-ended question that you want to ask is, what concerns you in the process to getting the home sold? What concerns you in the process of getting the home sold? Now, this is where you allow them to vent. And again, you're doing the same thing. You're writing stuff down. Okay. They'll say something, well, with COVID, how does it work with COVID? Okay, so COVID protocols, love it. What else? They'll say, well, we have a dog. How does it work with showings and the dog? Okay, having the dog, great. What else? And they go, well, what about this for sale sign? I don't want the neighbors the neighbors saying anything. I don't want them knowing we're selling the house. Okay, good. For sale sign. What else? See, I'm not going to answer those questions there. Why? It's going to throw me off of my presentation. Remember, I'm doing a canned presentation, and all I want you to do is vent. I want them to get this off their chest, and I want them to lower their defenses here. They lower the defenses. It's like, okay, so once they vent that out and you took the time to write it out, and at the very end, I go, listen, these are wonderful concerns. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing them with me. We're definitely going to cover that. But not right now, baby. I'm not doing it now, right? I'm going to go right into the presentation now. So as soon as I let them feel more comfortable, that's the idea, I will now go into, so let's look at the first question. Why should you hire me? Now I'm going to stop here. because it gets fun, right? And tomorrow I will go over how you present 6 questions using tie downs and getting you the contract you need signed at the end of the presentation. So come back tomorrow, baby. All right. So before that, unmute yourselves. Come on, unmute yourselves. Let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Everybody unmute yourselves. All right. Big question here. Important question.
Woo!
What day is it today?
Money making day.
I don't feel the love today. No, I'm not feeling it, guys. Not feeling the love. What day is today?
Money making day.
That's right. It's a money-making day. If you're on this call, it's a money-making day for you. So what do you need to do today to help you move the needle? You guys are awesome. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Danny.